Alright, so it looks like we're recording. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of go through a couple of things here in Google's Excel version, just so that we can kind of show you guys how to do a couple of things here. So the first thing we're going to do here is I already have it set up with a couple of numbers here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a title, and we'll just, I don't know, put yearly numbers or something here. I'll bring this out a little bit, highlight it all here, and then I'm going to come up and I'm going to center it real quick. Alright, so now one of the things that I want to do is I want to freeze this top bar so that as I scroll down, you know, say I were to have numbers all the way down here. Alright. But I don't want this to go anywhere, so what I'll actually do is I'll come up here, let's see here, View. Alright, so we're going to go to View, Freeze Rows. You can also do columns. Rows is usually better because you usually put your titles up at the top. So we'll go freeze 2 rows because we left an empty one here, so maybe we want to put something up. Maybe we want to put 2014 right here. Alright, so now this is frozen, so we had our numbers that are down here. Now as we scroll down, you can see that these stay frozen. They stay right where they're at. Alright, we can scroll back up. So I will actually come down here and we'll delete those off. And now the next thing I'm going to kind of show you is making a sum. So I'll come right here, and there's a couple of ways you can do this. Easiest way is just to put in an equal sign, sum, and then the first parenthesis. You see how it starts to kind of give me all the information here as I do it. I'm not pushing anything on the keyboard to do this. It does this automatically. All I have to do now that I have this one parenthesis is come and highlight all the ones I want to add, and you see how it's already automatically putting in the A3 and the A11. I just hit enter and it does it automatically. So now when I come to this cell, this is exactly what it looks like for the sum. And then it puts the sum automatically in here. Now we can go ahead and we can still go ahead and center this if we want, or we can, you know, go to the other side, whatever we want to do. We can still manipulate this cell, but we can't type anything in it. Now keep in mind too though that if I were to take and I go ABC, this changes the number and it no longer affects this cell. Alright, it can't add in the ABC, so if you put something in there. Now if, for example, you put in health aids, alright, so blood sugar taken at 9. Now watch the number at the bottom. Still didn't do anything. Alright. Put it there. It's still not going to change. Now, if we put 10 a.m. Oh, looks like Google fixed it. There used to be a problem where when you put a number in there, it would actually still register it. So that's kind of nice. Again, that's something that Google had been working on fixing. So now we'll just go ahead and put a random number back in there. And so we're good to go here. Now the next thing I'm going to kind of show you is I'm going to highlight all of these cells right here, and I'm going to go to Format, and we're going to come down here to Conditional Formatting. Alright, what this is going to allow me to do is a whole different types of things. So we'll start out and we're going to add another rule right here. We're going to do this one and we'll say is between, and let's say we go with 100 and 250, and we're going to change the background color and we want that to come up as green. We'll do the same thing over here, is between, and we'll go 251 and say what was our highest number over there? It was 554, so 560, and we'll do our background color as red. I have no idea what these numbers would actually mean, but now we have it set with the conditional formatting. Oh yeah, it looks like I did 100, so we'll have to add another rule here, and maybe we'll go, oops, is between 0 and 99 background color, and we'll put that as yellow. So there we go. Now we have all of them actually come up. Now here's the fun part. So if we change this to 500, it automatically changes when I hit enter. This automatically changes. Everything is now set to automatically change here. This is kind of a nice little thing if you want the conditional formatting to change colors. Now there's other ways that you can do the conditional formatting here too. So we'll come here and we'll go back to format and we'll do conditional formatting. So we'll do text contains, and let's say we want elementary. We'll add another rule for middle. You don't want to put school on there because then it's going to affect multiple ones and you'll start to have a hard time here, but high, and we'll put 4K. Now we can change, and let's say we're going to make them pink. We'll make them orange. We'll make them red because that's my favorite color here. Alright, and we'll make them blue. I kind of like that blue too. So alright, so now we save these rules, and now we put in, say, high school, middle school. Now the school doesn't affect it, just the high and the middle, because we're looking at whatever it contains. We can do then 4K, and then we'll do elementary schools. Or we could come and we could do, say, Tibbetts Elementary, right? So any way that we decide to do that here, it'll now change the colors, which is definitely a good thing for us. So another thing we can do, which is actually kind of cool that I like, is we're going to come down here and we're going to 0, and then we're going to, I'm going to put count and this, and then I'm going to come all the way down here and I'm going to hit enter. This is now counting all of the cells, how many cells are being taken up. This could be used in, you know, some of your mathematical formulas if you decide to do something like that. But basically it's just counting how many cells are being used. So we could actually change this. Come here and I'll delete this, and I'll actually go a little bit farther down. It's still going to be 9, even though now I'm using the 10th cell here. Now if I change this and put in 56, this changes to the 10. Now this doesn't change color. I don't believe it affected that. Yeah, I guess maybe it did. No, it didn't. Okay, because we didn't put that into these formulas. So this cell is only now being affected by this one right here. We would actually have to come down here and see this one's 8, 11. We can now come and change this to 12 if we want, and now it's being affected here. For this, all we really have to do is do this right here and go to Format, Conditional Formatting, save these rules. Oh. We'd have to re-put in the conditional formatting rules there. That's the one downfall to conditional formatting. You would have to redo that, so I would suggest good planning beforehand when you do that. That way you can make sure that it all works properly. Another nice one that you can do here is we're going to go equals count A, and then this. And now what we're going to do is I'll highlight all of these, and it's going to show how many are being used. Now the A basically is just saying that we want to count text, that we don't want to count numbers, we only want to count text. So, you know, if we go here, it's going to come up as 0 because it's only counting numbers. While this one was a count A, it'll count just letters. I'm trying to remember here. We have a couple others. See, you can also play with it here where you can get it to come up and it'll actually give you exactly what you want. So this is count of number values in the data set, count of number of values in a data sheet. So actually, let's see here. See if this works here. Count A, and we'll do both of these here. Enter 14. Okay, so the count A will count both values. We'll just delete that one. So you can kind of play around with it if you ever need help with some of these. If you're looking for new ones, just put in the equal sign and start typing something that you kind of want to do. Like, let's say, oh, look there, there's divide, sum, and it'll give you a whole bunch of different sums right here. You could put in sub, there's substitute, subtotal. There's so many of them that you can do, you can play around with. And as I said before, you know, as you look down there, you can kind of see down here where it's actually showing you basically what it does, count a number of unique values in a range. You know, this one will count the number of empty cells. This could be, you know, useful. So these are just kind of the basics here. Hopefully this helps, and if there are any other questions, please feel free to ask.